Last week, Velma had the perfect opening.
Velma, where are you? Help!
She got kidnapped by a murderous psychopath. There is a god, although it turns out the psychopath only took her home. A cage in a cave. Where she belongs.
When I was little, it was easy to spot a villain. He had an unironic handlebar mustache.
Yeah, now the women have mustaches too.
Over time, villains have gotten more complicated.
If Velma didn't shave, she'd look like a 1960s adult movie star. But now, her villain has furry feet. Her villain is Scooby-Doo. And I guess it was about time they put him in the show eventually. How many episodes of Scooby-Doo can you actually make with Mindy Kaling as the main character?
Do people hate you because you're bad? Or are you bad because people hate you?
Although in Velma's case, people hate her and she's bad, so only time in her life she ever got full points on a test.
Hello, Velma.
Oh, it speaks. This is now the second ugly, gruesome thing in the show to prove it's got the intelligence enough to speak. Nobody needs to be told who the first is.
I'm Scrappy.
What? If you're Scrappy, why did they give you the outline of Scooby? They can't even get the pissing dog right. This is the first person to ever look at Velma and drool. I'd lock that one down, Velma. That won't happen twice in your lifetime. But the military are taking this very seriously.
Dawn and the military are going to find Velma.
Yeah, but why? You're going to use her for experimentation. We've already seen how many cigarettes a greyhound can smoke, but now we'd like to see it on a humanoid creature before we test it on actual people. We've got to find a use for her somewhere.
The private sector has arrived to find Velma.
They'll definitely find her first.
Private sector is no match for the United States military.
Except that's where they get all of their stuff from.
William already showed up Amon by proposing to Dia before Amon proposed to me.
Why would anyone propose to you? You're not giving mother vibes, you're giving living hell vibes. You'd wake up stuck in a deep freeze.
Even though I bore him a child.
Yes. I've already got him on the hook for 18 years of child support, but he still won't give me that 50%. I'm pissed.
This is silly.
Turns out they're right. There's our bigger.
You're the evil super soldier? A talking dog? How is that even possible?
A really, really poor quality idea from an inferior person that should never have been given the responsibility of having to write a television show. Just off the top of my head.
How is it possible? Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta!
Oh no.
Puppy power!
You have some goodwill from me because you've stuck Velma in a cage. Never do that again. If you're gonna crap on anything, can it be Velma and not my childhood? So rather than these being his catchphrases, they seem to just be essentially random, uncontrollable tics. Look at his face when he says them.
Scrappy-Dappy-Doo!
Okay,
It's like Velma is experiencing a moment of intense pleasure. You know what I mean?
those weird outbursts are making me very uncomfortable.
Your presence being alive makes me uncomfortable. That's not a reason to do anything.
Which is the same complaint the victims had before they were murdered.
You make me uncomfortable. But jumping off a bridge because they can't stand your presence doesn't mean they were murdered.
They're not weird outbursts. They're catchphrases.
Oh no, we actually went there. Like, no, it isn't a tick. It is actually my catchphrase. I'm doing it deliberately. Or is this just Mindy Kaling hating on catchphrases? But he says the catchphrases are just so he can appeal to meddling kids he was designed to infiltrate.
You live in a literal lair, complete with a strung-out woman lounging in the background.
At least he's got taste. Let's be honest, Velma, you couldn't even pull that. He tells Velma, though, I didn't intend to hurt anybody. I just needed your help to solve the crime. Somebody is framing me for murder, Velma. I just think it's a shame. If he's already framed for it, you might as well take advantage and save the world from Velma anyway. They already think you're guilty of it.
Dawn, Gigi's father.
Apparently, he's the actual murderer. But Velma doesn't believe it, and so to prove it...
Prove to you that I'm innocent. You're free to go.
Wait, that was the only lock? She could have just stuck her finger through the bar and lifted the tiny bit of metal. Velma's so smart, I need to kidnap you. A bowl of cereal would laugh at her IQ. Then, though, Dr. Perdue turns up. She's like, I need to leave the asylum. Fred, I need to go into your basement. And we find out the creepy villain that even Batman would be afraid of.
I'm secretly working for Dr. Perdue because Fred's mom is a ghost.
Does that make sense? Your mum's a ghost. Let me betray all of you. But Velma is so overweight and ugly that she can't even run 50 meters away from a cave. I don't know what you mean. Ugliness doesn't control how much you can run. Does when your genetics are that bad. Billions of years of evolution and we ended up at that. You're gonna need a lot of mistakes along the way. Scrappy tries to convince her by telling her his backstory. He says Uncle Scooby, the Scooby-Doo you actually care about, is missing. After he convinced everyone that kids would love a puppy that shouted catchphrases like throw Velma off a bridge. They'd have entertainment for days. Velma's why bungee jumping was invented. Just so you could have the pleasure to do it again.
Okay, leash time.
Can we put Velma on a leash? Nobody wants her escaping out into the wild again. She also needs one of those I can't bite you masks like Hannibal had.
Scrappy is a portmanteau of and crappy.
This is the same reason any prequel is invented. Not just to tie yourself into the legacy of something that's bigger than yourself. That way you don't need any talent, but can get the reflected glory of someone superior to you. But it's also so you can take key moments that are unexplained and crap all over them. Because the envious love nothing more than destroying the work of somebody that's superior to them. But he says, I used to eat the military general's trainers, and the fact that I ate his shoes, but everyone still loved me,
Slowly drove him crazy.
I really hope that's not true, because that might be the worst reason for someone to turn into a serial killer I've ever heard. And why wouldn't he take out you rather than just random people in the street? And so he went around pressuring people to sign a petition to get rid of him. A petition in the military. You know what we're renowned for in the military? Violence? No, feminine paperwork. And so when they all refused to sign the paperwork, he snapped and killed them instead. I really hope all this is BS.
When it comes to guys making people uncomfortable, where there's smoke,
There's fire, yes.
Or just some miserable bint making it up. That's what it normally is. For instance, how do you know Velma's lying? Her lips are moving. Like, some people say that Velma belongs in the kitchen, but that's not true. You wouldn't trust Velma around food. She belongs in the basement. There is no useful activity she can provide to society. So it's just a case of lock her away and never think of her again.
But was that enough to frame you for murder?
But at that moment, they track Velma down. I don't know why. I would have prayed she stayed lost. Helicopter flies over with her dad in it. For some reason, he doesn't notice there's a big cave with a light shining out of it.
if you don't believe me, you're free to go.
I don't believe you. Leave. But as Velma still hasn't worked out how to put her eyebrows underneath her hair, I have a feeling she's going to make a bad decision. Then we get an explanation of ghosts, which is basically, I think the soul detaches from the brain and becomes a ghost on death. Like, oh, right. Why aren't they everywhere then? But when she became Daphne, she hired her to work for her, because if you were going to have any employee, you'd probably choose her, as she'd be cheap. I can't think of any other reason why you'd choose her. Unless you need a gruesome person to stand next to make yourself look more attractive. At that moment, Velma staggers out of the woods.
Wait,
And I'd say she looks worse for wear, but to be honest, I can't tell. Has she been kidnapped by a serial killer, or is that just her time of the month? As let's face it, with Velma, that would get very messy very quickly. It'd end up looking like a scene out of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Velma, what happened?
Well, at least you don't have to speak to her. You should have known better than to ask her questions in the first place, let's be honest. She lies to them, though, and says, I was just walking around the forest and got lost. But how did you get into the forest? You were in a bus. Of course, they're all too thick to think about that, because they've all got the IQ of the creators.
We'll get boba if you let me interrogate you.
I like that idea. I'll even pay for the boba, even though I don't know what that is. I keep seeing it mentioned by hipsters that I wouldn't piss on if they were on fire, but I still have no idea what it is. I just get the idea that from the people that like it, I shouldn't. Velma, though, is as thick as everyone suspected in the first place, which is quite impressive. Anyone can sink that low.
Help my new friend clear his name.
Hello!
She's decided to help the psychopathic dog. And I don't mean Velma, as Velma probably thought she was the only one in the show. Daphne, though, points out some good points. If he was framing Scrappy, why would he frame the witches?
And then just women in general.
Maybe that was an accident and they just kill so many men normally. All their clues naturally led to that assumption. Scrappy, though, attempts to manipulate her again by explaining that Don couldn't convince them that Scrappy was guilty until the coroners were dead. And that's when Scrappy decided to run, while apparently kidnapping his uncle.
Military blame the murders on witches and women.
Guess they needed someone believable. One look at Twitter, they're like, that's all the evidence we need. Scrappy, though, has no idea who Uncle Scooby is, as he always had a mask on.
I'm a dog. I see with my nose.
It's definitely not what Velma would be. In fact, through the magic of editing, you can probably see what Velma would actually be.
Velma, this is crazy. Scrappy is clearly the killer.
See? Beauty and brains. And I know they say opposites attract, which is nonsense, but why would she go after Velma? Empty-headed and ugly.
How can you believe him?
Because I've been him.
Ah, a dog. A psychopathic dog. But she's like, no one believed me when I said I didn't do it, so now I've got to believe somebody who says they didn't do it, even though I know they did. Right, that makes a lot of sense. If anyone but Velma had said that in the show, I would have said it was bad script writing. But Velma is actually that stupid in the show. So they want to kidnap him, but he's surrounded by guards, and Scrappy, even though he's invisible, can't get him for one reason.
My one weakness. Vacuum cleaners.
Is that because you don't have a wife to do the hoovering for you?
Of
I think that's a yes.
You might be able to isolate Don at the one thing sociopaths love,
Hollywood writing room?
a bachelor party.
Oh, it's just because you're not invited to them. How could you keep me out of a social occasion? You must be psychopaths. To be fair, Velma, I doubt you get invited to many hen parties either. It's not even because you're a bigot, it's because you're repulsive. Velma decides, while she's trying to get a murderous psychopath off the hook, she's also going to ruin her dad's life.
We're gonna get him to finally propose to Sophie.
Great! We're going to get him to lose half of his entire life's work. Only Velma could look that smug while doing something so evil.
I love proposals. They combine my two favorite things.
Gold digging and narcissism?
Romance and competing for likes on social media.
I mean, I nailed one of them.
Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta!
I need you to shut up. The catchphrases only work when they're well-timed and said for a reason, and you just shove them in anywhere. You're like Diddy. But he says, I need Daphne to stay with me because Velma might do something stupid, which, let's face it, is a certainty.
Like try and rat me out to those guards.
So there's no way Daphne can stay here because Velma is definitely going to do something stupid. That's a mathematical certainty.
Oh yeah, you totally will. If she's back in time.
Quick, Daphne, get the Hoover. I know this is 2024 and so you're probably too lazy to do housework. Acting like a woman might be your only chance at survival. Back at the Nut House, and, well, Norval seems to be attacking a ghost with a book. Kind of ironic because I think it's the first time he's ever picked one up.
Haunting me? As if living white women don't already haunt me enough?
What? Okay, I don't even get that one. I'm just going to assume the writer's a bigot again. Let's face it, I'm going to be correct.
Well, if you really want to prepare me for the world, I know one thing that might work.
A father?
A hug.
Oh, God. This is why fathers raise kids after the age of 4. Otherwise, you end up with people who are permanently children.
Dad, what I'm about to say is going to sound crazy.
You have an IQ above 60.
But with Mom's engagement, you need to propose to Sophie ASAP.
Okay, no, fair enough. You were right. That is insane.
I know. Can't let William show me up like this.
That explains why you're hitting the bottle, mate. Losing half your life to work for no gain has got to be painful, especially when you're tying yourself to that.
But I did just propose, and she said no.
Dude, this is like winning Russian roulette. Quit while you've still got a head. Well, Velma's like, hang on, why wouldn't she accept?
And why wouldn't she accept?
Because of you, Velma.
It makes a lot of sense, actually. Will you marry me? Not when your daughter is the Antichrist. I've seen the Damien movies. I'm not living through that.
I need to know you care about me too.
Look, if anyone supports that deluded hate campaign, it's Velma.
I had Amon draw up an emotional prenup.
An emotional prenup? Are we doing the same thing for his bank account? Because if anyone needs one, he does.
You always struck me as a dodging prenup type.
100%. She'll be like, I don't need to sign one. When I marry it, it'll be forever. Hang on, love, if you're not planning to divorce, why are you so concerned what happens if you do? Surely it doesn't matter. You're not gonna do it.
Item 1, no more rude comments.
Have you seen who you're dealing with? Be reasonable. That's like telling her to have a nice face.
That's our whole dynamic.
I can't do anything else. What are you, Scottish?
Relatives call, you'll say she's not available instead of dead.
That's just because of how she smells. It's impossible to tell the difference.
Scrappy's not the killer.
Then why is he looking at me like I'm a chicken leg?
We've already gone through this. He likes evil abominations because he is one himself, and Velma just entered the car. Of course he's drooling. He's her one chance at somebody finding her attractive.
We're never in danger because Scrappy's innocent.
Yeah, I mean, just look at his cute little face. And obviously, yes, that's ironic. The only people that would find that cute are the people that like pugs. Like, why? They look like they've run into a door.
I'm gonna call you worm medicine, because you really know how to put my heart at ease.
And you look like you've just traveled through somebody's bowels. But in an attempt to hog Fred, she possesses the creepiest person in the room, presumably because she already stinks of death. I don't know whether that's normal or not. She could vomit black goo onto the floor and I'd be like, does she do that all the time? She looks like it happens to her a lot. What's happening? What's happening? Oh, again, I still don't know if this is unusual for her. If they want to make us sure that something bizarre is happening to her, they should just make her attractive. There's no way she'd be able to do that of her own volition. Honestly, I think this is just a normal Saturday night for her.
What just happened?
I think you just found out what it's like when someone pours holy water on Velma.
Ghost is a consciousness. Your brain can't handle two of them at once.
Is it weird that they attempted more of a scientific explanation than Doctor Who has in any of their episodes recently? It's magic! Yes, I'm still bitter. I'm English, I can hold a grudge.
I know how I can finally make you a man, Fred.
No, stop it. You're his mum, you better not get stuck in a washing machine.
Wait!
Oh no, she just went inside him. This is Portland all over again.
Mother! What are you doing?
Black veins, ugly, has had their mother inside, definitely Portland. People screaming when they meet you. I know the signs. So Velma decides to take her father to a strip club. I didn't need to repeat this. I remember when Velma did this the first time, and no, I don't want to look through all those old episodes to relive that clip.
Oh, yeah. Keep it all on.
Show me nothing, baby.
Also, I'd like to point out that this woman is so thick, she spelt thick wrong. Oh no, that's not what it means. Yes, it is. It's an IQ test. I mean, it's still better than Velma's last song.
You are poor, so you will like this.
Well, the two dads get a surprise. Yes. Turned out Scrappy loves nothing more than a load of degenerates wiggling.
Revenge time!
Hang on, how are you going to get revenge? I thought you were innocent. Velma promised me, and we all trust her.
What did you do?
Well, it looks like she got her dad killed, which might almost be worth it if you didn't need to spend any more time around Velma. She said, "Oh, I thought you were innocent, despite the fact that you look evil and have immortal metal claws like Wolverine."
Sorry, Velma. Turns out I am the killer.
No, I never could have seen that coming, despite the fact that every other person in the entire episode said it. And this is Velma. Of course Velma is wrong. I'm still not convinced any of this is happening and she's not just in an insane asylum somewhere. People come by to throw rotten fruit at her for entertainment.
But it's not my fault.
Oh, I'm a sympathetic villain. Because female morality says that criminals aren't evil, they're just misunderstood and were made that way by society, and that means they can't be punished. Because they don't care about justice.
So I ask, who's really the villain here?
You're doing the acts and therefore you get what you deserve.
Them? Or me?
This is one of the key foundations of why Hollywood is failing. They're not using masculine morality.
You are. You bit their dicks off.
Turns out Velma has more testosterone than all of Hollywood.
Okay, but without them, there's no me.
Yeah, but you still made the choice yourself, so really, who should be listening to you? You deranged bid.
No, I get it. I'm just really bumping on the dick biting.
I'm actually surprised Velma cares. That I would have thought she'd be like, they got what they deserved.
Do you at least feel bad for me?
No, you're a murderer. You need to get what you deserve.
You're a monster.
So are you. I think you should both be subjected to the same punishment.
Girls, hit it.
That's right, Velma's like, I knew all along. I just wanted to lure you into a place where I could control. And if you did, there were far easier methods than this. But the degenerate slags get out the hoovers, which is actually the first time they've ever done housework in their entire lives. And he is petrified. Absolutely petrified. Meanwhile, Fred is fighting off his own amorous mum like it's a scene in a South London home.
Mother, what are you doing? Instead of trying to make myself disappear.
Instead of disappearing after making him an adult, instead, she's going to rip his soul out him and possess him herself.
And I'll be the man you're meant to be.
To be fair, given the complete lack of femininity in modern society, I bet she'd do a good job.
And you're gonna like it.
And with the amount of vegan foods he's eaten, he probably would. But he's like, I've always hated you, I'll fight you, I'm my own man. And then she's smiling, because, you did become the man I wanted you to be. You finally grew up. You still have to get your dangly bits out of Velma's purse, but once you do, you'll become an actual human being for once.
If you can stand up to me, you can do anything for—
Yes, if you can stand up to your inferiors, you can definitely stand up to anybody. How does that work?
Oh God, what's happening?
Yeah, she is going to hell, which just goes to show there's hope for Velma yet.
Stop, this is all your fault!
I need this to happen to Velma, please. If we don't get this for Velma, we need a season 3. It's the only option. He even ripped her arms off. What a boss. But Velma says, I always knew he was evil.
Scrappy made me uncomfortable.
It's because he's smarter than you, and you have a chip on your shoulder. This is why you're uncomfortable around everybody, Velma.
But to get away, I needed him to trust me.
No, he said if you don't trust him, you can get away. He let you escape, and you're the one who went back. But Daphne was in on the plan, and she's like, how did you do it? Well, she texts me. What a great plan. It was so difficult to keep secret, wasn't it? When you can just text each other.
Do you want to enjoy my downfall? Yeah, I'll go to jail now.
I mean, if you're going to jail now, that is kind of a problem, right? Like, yeah, you'll win temporarily. You're not the Joker. No, when I'm in prison, I'll be really powerful.
Kidnapping to making Dawn confess was just a big diversion.
I really knew and planned all of this all along, you see.
What I need to escape with Uncle Scooby for good.
But you don't know where Scooby is, apparently. What you said before. Also, I love the idea that anyone could look at that and go, yep, he's not evil. Seriously, it's like looking into the face of Velma.
Should I say Snappy Dappy Do?
I'd prefer if you didn't, to be honest. So we've found out who the murderer is, the women are horrific, and that the next episode is the finale. And as I post this, I've already recorded it, and it's a banger. And you know what that means. Anything that's good for me is bad for Velma. So that is an episode you don't want to miss. But for now, that's it from me. If you liked the video, press like, subscribe, more videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.